Okay, let's unpack this. For this deep dive, we're taking a look at some really fascinating bits from a book set right in those early days of the Star Wars Empire.
Yeah, it plunges us straight into that really tense period. The Jedi are gone, the Empire's tightening its grip, but you're starting to see these little sparks of resistance lighting up.
Exactly. And we've got a mix of sources here, some notes on the key players, plus chapters covering events that are all tangled up across different planets.
So our mission really is to pull out the key stuff. What were the hidden fights going on? What were the lives like for the people pushing back? And maybe find some surprising links between things that seem totally separate.
Right. Get ready for a shortcut, basically, to understanding this really charged moment in galactic history, straight from the sources we have here. Let's start with Eldeprian. Now, everyone thinks of Eldeprian as, peaceful, no weapons, working through the Senate. But these sources show right away that even that calm surface is, oh, it's starting to crack.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you feel that pressure personally through Senator Bail Organa. He's carrying this heavy weight, this secret worry, specifically about his little daughter, Leia.
Yeah, he's just trying to keep things normal for her, this toddler in the garden. But then there's this incident, something that really shakes him.
It happens in this park, overlooking a cliff, actually. Leia's there with her caregiver, Memily, who's, part of the household. And Memily's about to lean on this fence that's clearly damaged.
And Leia, who's not even 1 year old, she just whips her head around, throws her little laser ball right at that weak spot, just in time.
Memily is understandably freaked out. She tells Bail later she swears Leia knew, like she saw it coming, and then just went back to playing.
Which puts Bale in a terrible spot, doesn't it? He's juggling so many secrets already, hiding things from the Empire constantly, and now this. How could he possibly hide this too?
And the Empire's already knocking. The sources tell us Imperial Inquisitors land on Alderaan, specifically Head Inquisitor Ferus Olin, and another one, Inquisitor Hydra.
Their job, to investigate a citizen's tip about a Force-sensitive toddler, which we find out actually traces back to Obi-Wan Kenobi asking Ferris to find this specific child.
But the really interesting part here is Ferris himself. He's playing a double game. He absolutely hates being an Inquisitor, hates the robes, the whole thing. But he took the job so he could intercept exactly these kinds of reports. Find Force sensitives first, protect them.
He feels he owes it to Obi-Wan to protect this child. So this leads to a pretty tense meeting at the palace. Ferris and Hydra meet with Bail, Queen Breha, and her sister Dira.
The Inquisitors notice, no obvious weapons, which fits Alderaan's official story, but then they just cut right to it, investigating this report, demanding access to official records, security logs, citizen registries, everything.
And Bail is just furious. You can feel it. He knows the Emperor could probably get those records anyway, but the demand itself is pure intimidation. Alderaan's position is clear, nothing to hide, but they won't just roll over.
And they show that defiance, don't they? Bail, Breha, Dara, they just turn their backs and walk out. A silent refusal to even legitimize the demand. Pretty bold.
So after that, Ferris is thinking, right, gotta shake Hydra, gotta figure this out fast, find the kid, then somehow discredit the report, so the Empire leaves Alderaan alone.
And we get a peek inside his head, too. He suspects Vader might be a fallen Jedi he once knew. He's dealing with intense anger over Vader killing his partner, Roan. He even admits, the Emperor was right. Anger does make him stronger. He's felt that dark side pull.
He's carrying a Sith holocron, too, and is starting to feel active, like it's influencing him, nudging him towards that darkness. He sees a fight coming, not just out there, but inside himself. Okay, let's jump planets now. Leave Alderaan's troubled peace and head straight into the messy, dangerous heart of Coruscant. We meet Trevor Flume hiding out in the Orange District.
Yeah, Trevor's a fugitive, wanted back home, but Coruscant's sheer chaos offers a weird kind of safety. Even Imperial patrols think twice before going too deep into areas like that.
He's just left a Moonstrike Resistance meeting, and he found it totally frustrating. All these leaders from different worlds arguing, unable to agree, felt more like the old Senate debates than a real resistance.
But he's got his own thing going on, a secret mission from Ferus Olin. Scout the security at Republic of 500, this tower where the infamous scientist Jenna Zan Arbor lives.
Why? Well, Ferris owes a debt to another scientist, Lena Nultree. She became Zan Arbor's assistant, basically, to help Ferris escape something earlier. Now Ferris wants her out.
And the sources remind us, Trevor's got personal stakes, too. He helped rescue Astri's son, Lune Otto, who's Force-sensitive and misses him. Lune's safe now, hidden on an asteroid base with other kids, training under a Jedi named Garen Muln.
So while he's casing the tower, Trevor bumps into some important flame. She's this sort of enigmatic, folks, wealthy, connected to several resistance cells, maybe even the founder of Moonstrike.
Yeah, he catches up with her and she's clearly worried. The whole resistance movement feels fragmented to her. She tells Trevor she actually tried to recruit Bail Organa.
But Bale said no, right.
Mm.
Stuck to the official Alderaan line, no resistance, just working through the Senate.
Exactly. But Flame doesn't buy it. She's convinced Alderaan must have something hidden, some secret operation. She thinks getting Bail involved is key for Moonstrike to become a real force. She's putting a lot on this, and Trevor really respects her drive.
So even though Ferris has just asked for look-see, Trevor decides, nope, I'm going in. He breaks into Xan Arbor's apartment, uses a delivery disguise, manipulates the turbolift, bypasses the lock, very skilled, and even fixes the lock behind him.
And bam, he walks right into an ambush. But it's not imps, it's Rygal. A Jedi, silent type, friend of Lina and her husband, Tobin Cantor.
And why is Rygal there? This is crucial. Tobin Cantor just escaped Imperial custody from the prison world Despair and got a message to Rygal.
Yeah, horrifying news. Tobin found out Xan Arbor is making some kind of memory-altering agent.
Yeah.
And she plans to test it on Lina.
So they have zero time. They cook up this incredibly risky plan, hide in the turbolist shaft, and grab Lina when Xan Arbor gets back.
But then things get even crazier. Darth Vader steps into the lift with Xan Arbor. They're arguing. Vader's impatient. Xan Arbor's defensive about her work. You can feel Vader's contempt. Then he just violently stops the lift mid-shaft, throws them all off balance.
That's their chance.
Yeah.
Rygal and Trevor drop in. Trevor focuses on getting Lina safe. Rygal draws Xan Arbor's fire, deflecting bolts with his lightsaber.
And in that chaos, Lina does something stunning. She grabs a dose of the memory agent, the very thing she helped create, and injects Xan Arbor with it.
Wow. The sources describe Xan Arbor just screaming. Pain, confusion, crying out about losing her formulas, her mind, her genius. And Lina just says, you'll never use your brilliance to hurt people again. Chilling.
In seconds, Xan Arbor's memories are just dissolving. Her scientific knowledge, gone. Doesn't recognize anything. It's a really dark kind of justice, destroyed by her own work.
Lina hands the agent and notes to Rygal, tells him to destroy it all. They escape, leaving Xan Arbor there.
They rendezvous with Tobin on a hidden platform, a very emotional reunion. But Tobin didn't just escape. He brought back terrifying information from Despair.
Right. He saw scientists there, engineers, chemists, techs, all working on separate pieces of something huge. Compartmentalized. They didn't know what the others were doing. They were building.
Yeah.
He just called it something terrible. A hint of some massive, secret Imperial project.
So Rygal and Trevor start walking back towards their base in the Orange District, feeling the weight of all this. But as they get close to Thugger's Alley, where their friend's cell operated, it's too quiet. They smell smoke.
They run, and the alley is just gone, vaporized. Smoking rubble where buildings stood.
The Empire didn't just raid it, they wiped it off the map. Dex, Keats, Karen, all these names, people involved in that street-level resistance, gone.
Trevor's devastated, just heartbroken. Rygal basically has to drag him away. It's brutal. Shows how ruthless the Empire will be against even the smallest threats.
They find Flame later. She's safe, but shaken. She confirms it, everyone in the alley, dead. The Empire searched, then just erased it. No survivors.
That shared grief, Trevor feels like there's a rock in his stomach. But when Flame asks, what now? Rygal's answer is simple. We go on. That resilience, forged in loss. Okay, let's swing back to Alderaan. Ferris is still digging into that Force Adept toddler report. He notices Alderaan's peace, how deceptive it is compared to other places, even with the Empire breathing down its neck.
And he gets a coded message. It's from Amy Enton. She's a doctor working inside an Imperial facility on Coruscant, part of a network called the 11. They trade intel. Amy's looked at findings from an earlier resistance op, the Impel break-in.
She found something interesting. An emergency order for a special kind of Bacta, the kind used for really severe burns. Medical supplies aren't unusual, but emergency shipment. It clicks with something else Amy noticed about Vader's specific injuries. A tiny hint, maybe, about his condition.
Amy also pushes Ferris, get more involved with the bigger resistance network. He sort of agrees to think about it, but his priority is still clear. Protect Force sensitives, protect that hidden asteroid base where kids like Luna are.
This call rattles him, though. Maybe it's partly that Sith holocron he carries. His fingertips are burned from touching it, and he feels uneasy, like it's messing with his head.
So he goes back to the park where the incident happened, and he's looking towards the spaceport, and he sees it. Someone's spying from a warehouse window with electro-binoculars. Okay, so this isn't random. Someone's watching the park in the spaceport.
While he's there, he runs into Sona Zamba. and he learns about the Ginger Bells Festival coming up. Thousands of flowers bloom, families gather in the park. Perfect cover for him to observe kids without drawing attention.
He checks out that warehouse, gets past security, finds an empty room, locked, but there's dust disturbed near the window and faint scratches in it. Looks like partial letters, numbers, LCS smudge. 79244 2 sure 72. He figures someone was tracking ships.
Festival day arrives. It's busy, he uses the crowd, sharpens his senses, and he spots her. A little girl, pale hair, playing with a toy starfighter. Her balance, her reflexes. They're extraordinary.
He follows discreetly. He hears the caregiver call her Leia, and then he hears Leia herself point out the fence, the one that got repaired after the laser ball incident.
Now, here's the key thing Ferus feels.
Yeah.
It's not a blazing force signature, not like you might expect. It's more an instinct, a certainty. This is the child. He knows instantly he has to protect her, get the Empire looking elsewhere.
And Inquisitor Hydra is there too, unfortunately, interviewing parents. So Ferus has to play it cool. He lies straight to Hydra's face, says he found nothing, reports a dead end.
Later, Ferus finds a reason to be in the palace kitchens. He meets Memily, the caregiver, and learns something vital. Leia was adopted. Right at the end of the Clone Wars, a newborn. Queen Brehat had longed for a child. That timing is significant.
Then he overhears something else. Bail, Breha, and Dira talking privately, discussing resistance. Bail's explaining why he turned down Moonstrike for now wants a united front later. But Dira argues back, says some on Alderaan do want a local resistance. Maybe they should rethink the weapons ban. Just then, Ramus Antilles arrives. Message from Mon Mothma. They talk about getting him away secretly.
Things escalate fast. Vader himself shows up, confronts Bail, accuses him of organizing senators against the Emperor. Vader basically says, the rules have changed, and drops the hammer. An Imperial governor is coming in 2 days because of Alderaan's insubordination.
Bail is furious, obviously. Starts thinking maybe he should reach out to Flame to Moonstrike despite saying no before.
Then there's a breakthrough. Bail's upgrading his comm system, the secure one he uses to talk to Obi-Wan, and he finds a bug. A really sophisticated one. It tracked who he contacted, including Obi-Wan, though it couldn't break the encryption. But crucially, it means someone close, someone inside, is spying.
That clicks everything into place for Ferus. The bug, the leak about Ramus's travel, Dira's odd comments about weapons, her slightly off behavior, it points right at her. He goes back to the spy investigation.
He revisits that warehouse area, remembers his old master Sir Itachi telling him to really open your eyes, and he sees it an old, plain building he hadn't properly registered before.
Above the door, old chiseled numbers, 87112, and suddenly those scratch numbers in the warehouse dust make sense. LCS, smudge, 79244 The last part fits. The code wasn't just tracking ships, it was linked to this building.
He gets inside the old building, more security to bypass, finds a surveillance droid, and upstairs, new, empty Durasteel bins, stenciled on them. The full code, LCS 226579244128712, and the words speeder parts, plus scorch marks, scratches evidence of a recent landing.
The picture becomes clear. The spy wasn't just watching, they were getting ready for a shipment. Weapons, hitting here, disguised as speeder parts, and Vader's behind it all.
He's examining the bins when ambush. The spy was waiting, blaster fire erupts. Ferus makes a split-second choice. No lightsaber. He absolutely cannot reveal force use on Alderaan now, not with Leia here. It would bring the Emperor's full attention.
So he uses the environment, a pulley system, creates chaos. But that Sith holocron, it's practically humming inside him, urging him on. And he gives in, taps into the dark side. Pure rage fuels him. He starts hurling heavy bins, debris with unnatural force, just demolishing the place, overwhelming the spy.
There's this flash of dark satisfaction, then immediate kill. He shoves the feeling down, goes after the spy who's fleeing. He recognizes the shadow, Darton Ziemba. It's on his husband, the man from the park.
Darton escapes through a hidden tunnel, leads Ferus out into the busy open-air market, and who does Ferus see there? Dira. Standing there, in his Inquisitor robes, the dark side still buzzing under his skin, Ferus sees the path ahead. Vader's path. Can he fight darkness without becoming it? It's terrifying.
Ferus goes back to Bail, lays it all out. Darton Ziemba is the spy, probably recruited by Vader. Imperial weapons were stashed in the market, time to be found when the governor arrived. That's the pretext for takeover.
And Dira. She was used. Vader threatened her back on Coruscant, forced her to pass along info Antilles' travel, Bail's contacts, small things she thought were harmless. But the Empire twisted it, made it seem like Alderaan was arming up, making Bail's denials look like lies. Classic Imperial manipulation.
So Ferus suggests a countermove, a trap. Bail should write a secret memo directly to the Emperor saying Aldarian will resist the governor with force. The Empire will expect a fight, expect to find those weapons.
But Bale arranges for Ziemba to be detained, uses him to clear the weapons from the market before the Empire arrives.
No.
So Vader and the governor walk in expecting resistance and find nothing. They look like fools, Aldarian looks heroic, the spy's intel is useless, and crucially, Leia stays hidden. Aljarin avoids scrutiny.
Of course, this means confronting Dira. Bail and Brihad do it. She breaks down, confesses Vader threatened her family, forced her, swears she never reported Leia, thought the rest was minor.
Bale is just incandescent with rage, her betrayal, but Briha handles it with such dignity. She tells Dira straight up, "Your spying brought this danger here, not Bale's actions."
Dira tries to blame Bail's resistance. Brihad just cuts her off, exiles her own sister from the palace forever, arranges safe passage, a safe house, but the break is absolute. Heartbreaking.
2 days later, the governor arrives. Stormtroopers. Vader. And Vader, just to twist the knife in Ferris, mentions casually that they crushed that little resistance cell in Thugger's Alley on Coruscant yesterday. Even names Dexter Jetster, confirms everything Rygol and Trevor saw, that brutal loss, connecting the violence across the galaxy.
Okay, one last thread here. Let's jump to the planet Reverie. Supposed to be beautiful, luxurious. Astri and Clive are there on a mission. And the sources give us a little insight into Astri. She's actually kind of enjoying the danger.
Yeah, it hints at her past, before she was Bail Organa's wife when she was Astriado. Apparently she ran around with the Jedi a bit, even helped Obi-Wan rescue Qui-Gon once, posing as a bounty hunter. So she's got hidden depths, for sure.
Their mission takes them to Bank Nero 11 on Nero 11. They go in, posing as rich clients, meet the director, Herc Bloomy. And he actually agrees to help them find info for Keith's friend. Turns out Bloomy really dislikes the Empire sticking its nose into private finance.
So Bloomy gives them the goods. Eve Yarrow, she's the daughter of some big industrialist, moved the huge Yarrow Industries fortune off-world near the end of the Clone Wars. It was an Imperial order, but she still controls it.
And here's the kicker. The account's active, the payouts are increasing, and the money's going to a numbered account right there on Reverie. Looney can't give the exact address, just the planet.
Then things get hairy. Imperial security shows up at the bank. Astri uses those old skills, stays cool. Clive thinks fast. They manage to escape in Bloomy's own cruiser. Astri even blasts the security console on the way out, makes it look like a robbery to protect Bloomy.
Right, they make a desperate jump, fighters on their tail. They worry, will Bloomy crack under pressure? But they decide to push onto Reverie anyway.
They get there, start scouting. Reverie's all these huge, isolated estates. They find Eve Yarrow's place, but it's different, more modest, kind of blended into the mountains, no obvious security. It looks almost empty.
Getting in shows off Clive's skills.
Yeah.
He uses this super rare ancient mail coin. Apparently it expands and hardens when you heat it just slightly, pops the lock. Astri's mildly impressed, the source says.
Inside, it's comfortable, furnished, but yeah, definitely feels unused. Protocol droids inactive, kitchen freezers stocked, but no personal stuff anywhere. No clothes in drawers, no data pads lying around, like a stage set waiting for someone.
Then Clive finds something embedded in the stonework. The Emperor's favor, crystal. He recognizes it. It's a big deal, a reward given only to the Empire's absolute elite for a major service during the Clone Wars. Confirms Eve Yarrow is high up in the Imperial structure.
And Astri finds something else, a hidden room. She notices the dimensions are off, uses some slicing knowledge about new security systems, finds a trigger in a laser painting, but the room, also empty. Not a panic room, just a hidden empty space.
So you've got this picture, right? Someone with immense wealth, literally rewarded by the Emperor. High status. But her house is empty, waiting, payments increasing, secret rooms. It doesn't add up.
Exactly. And this loops right back to that mystery figure, Flame. Rumored Moonstrike founder, sacrificed a fortune connected to resistance, anxious, specifically interested in Alderanin and Bail.
Could Flame be Eve Yarrow? It's a huge question. So I'm playing both sides. An Imperial elite secretly bankrolling the rebellion, that would be something else. Connects the top of the Empire right to the heart of the resistance.
So you pull back from all these threads, what does it all mean?
Well, in just these few snapshots, you really see the Empire digging its claws in everywhere, don't you? Even on supposedly peaceful Alderaan, it's surveillance, manipulation, manufacturing reasons to take control.
And then you contrast that with Coruscant. Absolute brutality. Daring rescues under Vader's nose, sure, but also that terrifying science and resistance cells just erased, snuffed out.
We've tracked these threads through some really complex people. Ferris, that double-agent Jedi, wrestling with the dark side. Dira, the spy trapped by fear. Trevor and Rygal facing devastating loss. Lina making that terrible choice.
And you get hints of the Empire's sheer scale, worrying about one toddler on Alderaan, crushing steep gangs on Coruscant, and that background whisper of scientists building something terrible.
Plus, this lingering mystery of flame.
Mhm.
Is resistance hiding in plain sight, funded by Imperial wealth itself?
Yeah, this deep dive really shows that the fight wasn't just, big battles. It was happening in palace kitchens, back alleys, empty mansions, and inside people making impossible choices.
The lines between just surviving, compromising, and actually fighting back are so incredibly blurred.
Which really leaves you thinking, doesn't it? In a galaxy like that, under total control, everyone watched what does it take, what kind of courage or sacrifice or even, yeah, compromise is needed just to make it through, let alone to find some way, any way, to push back against the darkness.